It's 1977, and a young man in his mid-20s is working as a groundskeeper at Patton State Hospital in Highland, California. This man is over a crew of also people who are patients of Patton State Hospital, kind of a recreation thing, where they would go out and help the people who work there clear the grounds. Now, this young man worked with another young man who was a patient. His name, let's call him Jeff. Now, Jeff was 6'4", 275 pounds, and kind of the mind of a child, developmentally challenged. And this young man took this young man, Jeff, under his wing, and he always worked with him. And there was a room they had to go to, a shack that had a lot of the equipment they needed for the groundskeeping. And when they would go there every day, Jeff would not go in there. Like I said, this was not a small man, not a man you'd think would be fearful, but he would say, I can't go in there. He would never step foot in there. So the young man would always get this equipment together, come out, and together they would go work on the grounds at Patton State Hospital. One day, Jeff wasn't feeling well, so he wasn't able to go out there and work with this young man. So the young man went in there by himself, started gathering together his things for the day's work at Patton State Hospital. And he felt somebody behind him. He thought that Jeff maybe felt better and came into work to help him out. So he says, "I see you feel better, huh, Jeff?" Didn't hear a word. So the young man keeps on working. He thought maybe, he got the nerve to go up there and was still nervous to be in that room. And so he's gathering all the things together, and suddenly, a hoe, a tool used for gardening, slammed into a post about a foot away from his head, to the point where the blade was in that post at least 2 to 3 inches. The young man was very startled, turned around in anger, thinking that Jeff got violent, and nobody was there. The young man ran outside and looked around and did not see anybody, nobody who could have gotten away that fast from the location. 2 weeks later, that young man quit that job. He said that every day after that event, he saw things, shadows move that should not have been moving. And he also got another job that had a lot to do with him looking for another job, because all the things he saw. Hello, my name's Aaron Patrick Mitchell. Always, let's talk about some creepy shit. The young man in that story was my dad. My dad worked there in 1979 and quit there a few weeks before I was born. And the story he told me was back when I was a teenager. Never quite believed it, thought it was all kind of bullshit, until I started doing some research. Patton State Hospital was built in 1890, a very old location. And back then it was used, let's say, questionable methods for mental illness, things that we would consider abusive nowadays, like cold water therapy, electric shock therapy without putting them out, and frontal lobotomies, where they would stick ice picks through their eye orbit into their brain and pretty much scramble the front part of their lobe to make them more, let's say, compliable. Over the years it's gotten better. Now it's actually mostly a criminally insane, or people who could cause some horrific crimes against the people that are there. At one time it was kind of a mix. There was a small area that was for, the people who did some bad things that, pleaded insanity and got that plea, and people who just had some mental issues that needed some rest and some rehabilitation. But ever since that time, there has been stories of shadow figures, of things being thrown, disembodied voices. And this place, when patients died there, didn't take them to the local cemetery. They buried them on the grounds. And it's estimated there could be up to 2,000 bodies buried under Patton State Hospital. And they have no markers, except for one marker they put there recognizing the patients who had passed away on the grounds. Now, I drive by this place every day, and I see this marker when I go by. What's your thoughts? Any stories from Patton State Hospital in Highland, California? As always, hit me up. And as always,